Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this live session today. We had some technical difficulties, but I'm really glad to get started. For those of you who are new here, we at Headstream are really focused on improving youth mental well-being through innovation and co-creation. And I'm excited to have you meet our alumni from our programs, two of which we're featuring today. One of them is the Accelerator program that we have. Applications are currently open. This is a program, virtual first, cohort-based program for early stage founders that are building digital health products for young people, say, BIPOC, Latino, LGBTQIA youth. Applications due March 16th, so check those out. We also have the Co-Creator Club, which is for your passionate young change makers aged 13 to 19 years old that are really interested in co-creating, collaborating with founders and influencing the direction of these, digital mental well-being services and tech. Those applications are due March 2nd, so stay tuned, share it with your folks. I'm Sidra Durrani. I help manage our entrepreneur support programs here at Headstream, and I'm really excited to be here today, the moderator, and just highlight some of our alumni who've been in these programs. So with that, I'm gonna just bring up Malika, CEO and co-founder of Psyche Care, Daniel, CEO and co-founder of Calda, and Jose, co-creator, alumni, and student researcher at Columbia University. Hi, thanks for joining us. All right, let's just dive right in. Malika, let's start with you. What led you to the Headstream Accelerator, and how has that experience really, shaped your work?
Sure. Thank you so much, Sidra. Hi, everyone. My name is Malika, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Psyche Care. And we empower caregivers with the skills to independently manage their child's mental wellness at home. I started this in Feb of 2023 when I met my co-founder, Han Xiao, online. And we spent months over months just market IDing, talking to as many caregivers as possible, and just trying to make sure that we were solving for the right pain point. So by the time we had heard about Headstream, we were barely a company. We were both students, still studying full time and exploring this idea on the side. But we're really excited about the potential opportunity to expand and to learn with Headstream's resources, especially co-creation with youth and the advisors that they can bring on board. So we took a shot in the dark and we applied, thankfully got in, thank you so much, y'all, and really, truly benefited from the experience. We went from being a team with very low confidence in ourselves and what we were doing, as we felt like we weren't an organization, to being paired with some of the best in class advisors, best in class youth co-creators to really validate our mission, our values, our product, and our direction that we were going. We left the program feeling all the more empowered to keep pushing forward, as well as, meeting so many other innovators that were driving and paving the path forward in their own respective streams. Daniel with Calda and so many other innovators that are working in so many different spaces, whether it be podcasts, youth empowerment, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, I think Headstream's ability to marry bold visions with equitable paths forward was incredibly exciting, especially for me as a first-time founder very early on in the journey, and just so grateful for the opportunity.
Thanks for sharing that, Malika. We were honored to support you, and it's so great to have you in the cohort. Daniel, I wanna bring it to you. What brought you to Headstream, and how has this experience shaped your work?
Thank you, Sidra. Hi, folks. I'm Daniel, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Calda, and we are an LGBTQIA+ mental wellbeing platform. And what led us to the program was that we were in the middle of a fundraise, and we were looking for opportunities to kind of combine both funding and also like network building. And for me, what really stood out to me from Headstream was the co-creation opportunity. When we first launched our app, we were set at this 18+ mark, and we were getting so many messages from folks who were younger and younger, very easily accessing our app through different workarounds. But we were recognizing that for our service in terms of mental well-being and self-care for young queer folk, we needed to we needed to involve the youth in the creation of our product. Now, accessing different panels and focus groups was really is really difficult. And our aspirations, of course, have been wanting to support folk out in the States. So a bit of context that we're based in the UK originally. So with the program, I remember it was perhaps January that I had applied. I saw it as soon as it opened up. I made my application, and then it was I think I had my interview, I think in at the beginning of March, and I just remember like it just coincided with like the kind of almost the close at that point of our fundraising round. So it was just such a magical moment when I got to speak to you.
Thank you, Daniel. I really want to bring that point out. You talked about co-creation, really stood out to you in this program, and like one of the biggest like values, ways we carry is co-creation. We believe not for us without us, and that young people not only deserve a seat at the table, but just can be the influencers and drivers of this innovation and tech. And so, Malika, how did like working around alongside youth in the co-creator club influence your work? Whether that was in your product or your approach or your perspective. I'd love to hear.
Sure, more than happy to share. And with that, I'll also share that it comes with reflection and heavy reflection on the fact that we definitely undervalued the importance of integrating youth in our development process, right? We're a caregiver support platform. We were mostly co-creating with a caregiver advisory board. And when we entered Headstream, we were curious, but not really sure tactically and tangibly how youth co-creation could really uplift our mission. And we realized, not only is this something that can add to the experience, but it's central to the development of our company and our product. We were so early stage that we were still figuring out our mission, our values, our trajectory. And not only were we able to get tangible feedback and advice on our product and the features and how to market it, but we were also able to bring in the voices of youth to build out our mission and our values and things that are so core to the way that we run operations on a daily basis. We realized that the communication and the championing of the service from youth to their parents is crucial with this service, right? That connection, especially as we talk about relational health, it's a two-way problem to solve. And by only focusing on caregivers, we only got one side and one perspective of this issue. So for us, this was a huge wake-up call. Okay, we need to revamp, reshape the way that we're approaching our development. And it was through voices like Jose's that we really, were awoken to this fact and have brought that into the core of our development to date. So that's something that I really thank the co-creation team for doing. And it's just completely shifted the way that we've approached building Psyche from that day forward.
Thanks for sharing, Malika. It takes like a certain level of like humility and just recognition to see that, and I'm glad to hear that it was for the better. Daniel, hearing from Malika, what was like some of your biggest shifts or takeaways with co-creating with young people?
I think for us, the way that we were approaching Cauda right from the onset was we were looking at the existing systems around us of accessing mental health support and digital healthcare, and it felt so disconnected from the realities and the identities of folk. And like you only have to look historically at like the way that mental health for queer folk has been was pathologized in the past. So it was, for us, it was so important to be able to like bring community in the shaping of what we were offering, because it was trying to like we were trying to reshape a system that had tried to discriminate against us. So what was so exciting, the biggest shift for us was really like learning how to listen and work with our co-creators. Like that specific word, co-creation, I think was the biggest shift for my own understanding as well. I historically come at it from like this world of focus grouping and like surveying and like here's what we've got for you, and now tell us what you think. And I remember the first co-creation session that we had, like it was so difficult because I was completely unlearning everything I knew about how to co-create with the youth panel. And from that moment onwards, like the whole process became so incredible for us. It was fun. It was exciting. I literally was the highlight of my week. And I think it really shone through, like the experiences that we got to hear from and tap into. So it moved away from this, we're doing this, what do you think of it? And it became like, how are you doing things generally? And that kind of restructuring of how we're asking questions and engaging with folk.
You've really like unlocked something for me in saying that, Daniel. It is so true that we often think of collaborating with youth to be in these visions of like it's a focus group or it's like an advisory board. And so, Jose, I really want to bring this conversation to you and just you've had a chance to collaborate with PsycheCare and Calda in the last year's cohort. What did co-creation mean to you, and how do you think this type of like intergenerational collaboration impacts youth mental well-being? And just like what did it unlock for you in this experience?
Yeah, for sure. Let me start off by saying that I think both Malika and Daniel are superstars. I'm a huge fan of the projects that they're doing, and their efforts are really significant. And I think that through this experience, really taught me the value of co-creation. I think that a good product, whether it is for digital mental health or even if we're looking at a painting, it requires a lot of co-creation. And for me specifically in this program, it was important to understand that co-creation meant more than just say, let's just involve young people and let's bring them here. I think for me, it was more about making sure that what I had to say, along with my lived experience, was actually used to tailor solutions in a way that felt relevant and relatable to the people it aimed to serve. And I think that working with these two amazing entrepreneurs and just human beings made me realize that co-creation sometimes it isn't just about consultation. I think that it's an active effort to make these initiatives, these products feel less distant, and it's an effort to humanize them in a sense too. And I think that this brings back to that the second part of your question, Sidra. I think that mental health well-being resources often fail to reach young people because they don't sound like us. I think that sometimes they don't reflect our realities, or they feel too formal when in reality you're selling a product that it shouldn't be that way. And I think that through the co-creation club, I focus a lot on language, and I use this because I think that it is important to invite young people in this space because language plays a huge role, as you Daniel said, in kind of perpetuating the negative stereotypes for people dealing with a mental struggle. And I think that co-creation ensures that messaging and those tools are resonate with people and humanizes in a way that is very magical.
I I feel so excited hearing what you've said because I had the wonderful opportunity to sit in on co-creation sessions, and this is exactly what I saw. Like, what an honor to be in this space where genuine, authentic collaboration, co-design is happening. As we're winding up on time, I really just want to ask our panelists, it sounds like your experiences were really valuable, and I just want to know, what would you tell future prospective applicants? What advice would you give them, whether for the co-creator club, which is for our youth, or the accelerator, which is for our founders?
Oh, I froze a little bit, but I can start. Definitely, I think as someone that applied incredibly early and didn't have much traction with the application, putting forward a bold vision of how would you like to restructure or reconstruct a mental health system was incredibly important for us, but marrying that with how do you uplift everyone in the process, and being able to couple a vision with implementability was crucial and important. Additionally, being really open to leaning into the experience was of utmost importance for us as a team that didn't really know what we were getting into at the start of the program, but really diving in deep with the youth co-creation sessions, really diving in deep with the advisors, was able we were able to marry, the tactical feedback that we needed to implement on a weekly basis from the youth co-creation sessions, coming back to the drawing board and saying, okay, we need to start from scratch. How can we, reframe this, to going to advisor sections and hearing structurally what are the barriers that we might run into this week, this month, a couple of months down the line, years down the line, and really think about how can we reframe and restructure our planning that way. I know that there were some weeks where we had to lean out, some weeks that we leaned back in, but always, as we touched base with the Headstream team and really utilized the resources and opened ourselves up to that feedback and the new learnings, we realized, this was instrumental as an early stage company and in our learning, and just excited to see everyone apply this year and potentially be able to utilize the resources the same way we were.
And so wonderfully said. I would say get your application in as early as possible. I think it just, I think a lot of the questions do require a good amount of thought put into it. I think again, it's your understanding of the market and where you see things going, and if you're able to articulate your own thoughts around that, I think that goes a long way of putting together your own thesis as to why you're doing what you're doing. I think a big one as well would be to really ask yourself, are you working with the youth co-creators for the right reasons? I think there are potentially companies out there that just are not actually integrating the voices of our youth co-creators into their products, and I think that's such a waste. So I would say if you're going to go for it, really embrace the experience, embrace the process. I think as I mentioned, this whole unlearning of exactly how you want to, of what you perceived as focus grouping and into the world of co-creation is so phenomenal, and it's so worthwhile. And I think if you've got a team around you, bring them along as well. I think that's I was very much a very much a solo, very small team going in, but oh my gosh, now having brought a team together post our funding round, all thanks to this whole experience, I'm the champion talking about youth co-creation, and nobody's getting it, but they are. so I want more people to be able to experience this, because it is honestly amazing.
Yeah, for me, broadly, please apply. I think just apply. I know if you're having second thoughts, trust, please apply. And more specifically to the youth co-creators, I think this is a wonderful opportunity to both personally kind of understand more about your skill set and your abilities, and to expand on those abilities. And then I also think that at a professional level, it's always great to learn from great minds, and for always great to learn from leadership too. And Sidra and Sabrina, who's somewhere seeing this, they both are awesome. They're great. They're fantastic in the work that they do, and I think it's just a great opportunity to nurture that community, to meet great people, to be curious, to ask a lot of questions when you are in these co-creation sessions. And I think that has been my highlight, asking the right questions, sometimes being in rooms where people are like, oh, I never thought of that before, it's interesting, and it's an interesting point. So if you're bring your curiosity to the program, I think it's great. And also it has a lot of perks, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of things that really help my professional and my personal career as well. So I think that was great.
Thank you, panelists, Jose, Malika, Daniel. I feel like we got such good nuggets of wisdom from y'all. And you are in the alumni community, so prospective applicants, you would get access and mentorship and just really be able to connect with such amazing founders that have crossed our programs, doing really impactful work. I want to thank you for your time. We could talk about this forever, but that wouldn't be nice, I think. So I will close up. Thank you all for joining this live session. Our applications, again, are open. March 16th is the deadline for the accelerator, and March 2nd is the deadline for the co-creator club. Share this with your community, share this with your youth. I think that this conversation was really inspiring and insightful. We have an office hour session for the accelerator applicants coming up on February 26th. We'll drop a link in the chat. I just want to remind y'all that these, our accelerator is open to these tech-based solutions that are focused on youth mental well-being. International applicants can apply as long as y'all have a plan for being in the US, and really just focusing on youth solutions. So check out our office hours. If you have more questions, you can talk with us more directly, get those questions answered. Reach out to our email, accelerator@headstream.com, if you want to chat over there, and follow our amazing cohort. Give them a connect on LinkedIn, follow their websites. And yeah, thanks for joining. Take care all. Have a nice Thursday.